Good evening, citizens. My name is Ban Shattersong, captain of the Bloody Hand Mercenary Company. And today is actually going to be a little bit of an OC episode. I'm actually joined by one of my friends, Ira, a Unconquered of Highguard. And Ira is what you would call a solo LARPer, a person who has gone to the field of Anvil, played the game by themselves. Still come with friends, but their character has operated independently. And this episode is going to be all about Ira's experiences, what was good, what was bad, what it's like being at Anvil for the first time ever. So, Ira, do you want to tell us a little bit more, about yourself, IC, OC, if you'd like, and also your character?
All right, hi guys. Ira here, or I guess OC known as Ty. The character I went very edgy rogue, sort of viewed it as a more of like a D&D 2.0 kind of vibe. I always play a rogue in D&D, so yeah, it was in like full black armor, a hood, a mask. Um, but yeah, I mean the first event was crazy. Plenty of highs, plenty of lows. Probably more lows than highs. There was definitely like a huge amount of mistakes I made first time I went there. But yeah, running into you was fun though, and seeing your camp was one of the highs.
Oh, nice. Oh, good shit. And for a little bit of background for other listeners, so Ty and I ran into each other after maybe like sort of the pandemic, not really seeing each other in a few years beforehand, kind of going separate ways with universities and jobs and stuff. So we actually ran into each other in Moorish, in the queue for food, which was a wonderful surprise. And this time I've lost my hair since the last time you saw me, so I had to had to point at my face and just point at my head and like look at the face, ignore the hair, and you were like, "Oh
It was
shit."
somewhat of those like startled Spider-Man moment where they're sort of both pointing at each other, being like, "Hey, you!"
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that was quite fun. But yeah, we hadn't seen each other since back when I lived in London, so a long time ago.
Yeah, so it's hence this, I guess, this episode today, and yeah, a lovely surprise. So you said you had a few lows overall compared to highs. Do you want to, I guess, jump into the high level of those before we sort of go through the? Typically, what I do with others is we'll go like, what was your Friday vibe, your Saturday vibe, your Sunday vibe, and then overall. But then how about we reverse it so we kind of know what the, I guess, the layout of the land would be.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, I just found I struggled to find the role play. I didn't have any idea really what Empire was going to be like when going in. I had some sort of premise from what I'd read or what I'd seen, but getting there and experiencing it was a totally different shock. I sort of viewed that I'd be able to do the battles and skirmishes all the time, and then do role play as a secondary, but that did not go as to plan. And just ended up bouncing off quite a few things. I think everyone being back after 2 years, all the groups were kind of set in doing their group stuff that they've been planning for 2 years. There wasn't a lot of space or time for new players to interact with them. So I did find myself with a couple of other new LARPers, new in Highguard for the first time. That was awesome. That was really fun. But when trying to get involved in with like the groups and stuff like that, that was definitely quite difficult.
Hmm. And was that within Highguard or throughout the field?
Yeah, within Highguard, I spent too much time in my nation's area. I look back on it and I think, yeah, I shouldn't have just been doing circuits around the Highguard camp, hoping someone would come and speak to me, or finding a chance to interact with people. I Some of the best moments I had was when I went into the other nations' places. Had some really nice action reaction from I think it was a Navarre captain, skirmish captain. That was really cool, and that was just simply me going up with another high guard to go and ask if there was space on their skirmish for two archers, which you'll find out quite a lot of the time there is. Archers are very much wanted, which is cool. So it's nice to be, yeah,
Nice,
to
nice
always
to
have
be
a spot.
wanted.
Yeah,
So,
but
which nations did you go to? So, sort of, you stayed in Highguard, and I'm not a Highguard player. I've played Empire for like a few years, but still haven't played in Highguard. From what I understand, is the chapters can be, a little bit secular, and then it's part of I guess part of the role play. They're all very, very focused on their individual tasks, but also I think you're dead on there. Is there's been a 2 year gap for all the veteran players, and they have had 2 years to plan, scheme, plot, and do other nefarious things. And like you said, there's only so many hours a weekend, and they were just driving straight for that. And what I think will happen is now we've had first contact again. Once we get to E2 and onwards, groups will be a little bit more open, all their plans have failed, and all the plot will start to, let's call it bud, flourish, and that'll be a perfect point for new players like yourself to get involved.
Yeah, definitely. I thought when I thought it, I was like, oh, okay, it's a 3-4 day event. Can be plenty of time to do everything, but you really only get stuff done on Saturday. Is what I quickly found out, is that everyone was just sprinting around trying to do their stuff on Saturday, because Friday is very much just icy drinking, from what I can see.
Yep.
It's just
Yep.
everyone getting absolutely trashed icy. Saturday, you've got the battle in the morning, and then you've got obviously all the time to do role play. So Saturday's your biggest day. So, but that was a day that I did the battle and then kind of did some skirmishes, and then was very much like, what else? But yeah, so what other nations did I visit? I spent a little bit of time in Wintermark. That was only OC though. I went and looked around all the camps and stuff, and got invited to spend a bit of time around a fire, having some drinks.
Oh, nice.
And that was nice. But I think they're quite there because they're such a big nation. It feels quite insular. So it's similar to London. You know, like London's huge, but it feels quite lonely.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
It's with Wintermark, they are a huge nation, and I'm not sure how accurate this is, but I've heard in the grapevine that Wintermark alone is the third largest LARP in the UK.
That's mental.
Yeah.
But you can see that, right? Because you go into the field with Wintermark and Dawn in it, and Wintermark is just everything to the right and as far as the eye can see almost.
Yeah.
And they're actually a bit in the forest now as well.
Yeah, they started to encroach on our territory.
Yeah.
I think this is almost deliberate by PD, cause a little bit of, well, maybe not, intonation friction, but there's certainly some Navari factions who view the forest as ours, and it is not for the 3 people, 1 nations.
Yeah, I mean, I nearly stumbled into the Imperial Orcs camp in character, and that was an intimidating moment.
Oh yes, did anyone warn you about the cultural specifics of going into their camp?
Yeah, I mean, I got kind of, well, less of a warning and more of like an off topic like drinking discussion that just happened on the Thursday night. Someone's like, "Oh, by the way, don't go in there if you haven't got a weapon," and then just kind of left. And I was like, "What? What do you mean don't go in there? Anyone going to tell me any more than that?" So for the whole time, I was just terrified of going to this Imperial Orc camp. And because the entrance to the Imperial Orc camp is right next to the entrance to Navarre, there were a couple of times I was just like, "Nope, whoop," and nearly walked straight into the wrong one.
They get,
yeah,
the OCD Orc players are often actually some of the nicest, and I don't want to use the word best, but they are very dedicated to their roleplay because they wear the masks all weekend and the heavy costume and the makeup. It's a lot of OC effort, but the result is a fantastic IC effect. But yeah, they really don't like it when you go into their camp either alone or unarmed. I think the alone part is, if you haven't got someone with you, you're up to no good. And if you haven't got a weapon, you're insulting them. That you're essentially saying is, I don't need a weapon to defend myself here because you're all crap.
Yeah.
Which is
that's sort of what I eventually did get explained to me, I think, on Saturday night. But yeah, it does have a fantastic IC effect, and I looked around the camp a little bit before time in, and their camp was incredible. It was really, really cool, and all the effort that goes into all the orcs is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
So yeah, it does lead to awesome effect, especially on the battlefield. You've got like a row of 100 orcs in front of you. Like,
oh god. Yeah,
so
I won't get ahead of myself before we start talking about the battles. Should we go for like a day by day breakdown almost? I feel like Friday might be a little bit brief.
yeah, okay. So, I mean, Thursday night was actually one of my favorite nights there. I just got absolutely trashed on mead, and I'd never had mead before. I didn't realize how much I liked mead, and now I'm buying like 4 bottles of mead to take with me to Empire because it's so good. But yeah, it was good. Like getting there early, getting everything set up was. I'm 100% coming on Thursday every single day now. Like it's just it makes life so much easier, and you get to have a little bit of drinks and chill time and meet a bunch of other new people. 2 of the people that I interacted with most, and probably two of the they were camped right near us, and I met them just drinking on the Thursday night, and I'm so glad I did because I had so many interactions with those guys throughout the weekend.
Mm.
Awesome. They were really, really cool, and we're planning like a lot of stuff for next event. So yeah, I made a couple of friends, which was nice.
Fantastic.
We just met outside the loos, which is such a typical British drunken way of meeting your best mate on a night out. I can't remember. I was looking for someone. I was looking for the person I came with. Looking for someone that was camped next to us. He said that he was going to this thing in Wintermark later, and I was like, "Oh, I'll come along and I can find you." And so drunk me was like, "Let's go find him." Not realizing that stumbling around in the dark, barely able to keep on my 2 feet, trying to find Al was somewhat of a mission. So I just started asking people, "Do you know where Al is?" Which is somewhat of an open-ended question. And then I asked these two guys, and they were like, "We don't, but we'll help you find him." So we ended up getting, there's three of us, and then the more people we asked at different campfires, more people would come and help us. And I think eventually we had like 14, 15 people trying to find Al, and we were just walking around, drinking, going to different campfires. It was so much fun. And then we found Al.
Oh, brilliant.
We did find Al, and he was perfectly content where he was, just around a Wintermark fire. And we were like, all right, stage 2 of the quest. Let's go find Mimi, which was the other person I came with. So then they were like, what? I was like, yeah, the quest has leveled up. We need to keep going till we get the experience points. But yeah, it was great fun. So Thursday night, yeah, it was good. But yeah, obviously those are all OC interactions. But definitely planned from that, started planning with some people, some IC interactions and stuff like that, and people you want to go speak to IC, which was nice. It gave me a lot more direction than I would have had otherwise.
Absolutely, yeah. It's when you, even though you don't know them, I feel like we locked eyes maybe once or twice across the weekend, and when you know somebody, it's that just a little bit. You give them a little smile, you wave, and then your characters start talking. Even though you don't know each other, it's still a soft icebreaker having met OC, and then you can get involved in their game and their plot, or vice versa. You might just be happen to be looking for someone to help you out with something, and it's surprise. I don't know if you found this on your weekend. It's surprising how often, when you're looking for somebody, you start looking, you find them within 5 minutes. Sometimes and it's always quite lucky. Like you just happen to be walking the opposite way in a path, or you talk to someone who's just seen them. That kind of thing. It's uncanny sometimes, but maybe I'm just lucky.
I had the opposite experience.
Shit.
I couldn't find anyone. Whenever I wanted to find them, they weren't there. And so spent such a huge amount of time walking around trying to find people. It probably took up a good chunk of my day just trying to find a couple of people.
Yeah, just walking around.
Are they? Like, they've just vanished off this face of the earth.
Yeah.
Turns out I was trying to find someone that had died, so that was tricky. Because then when I did find them, they were like, "Who the hell are you?" I was like, "Fuck's sake!" So that was it was amusing, but also slightly frustrating. But yeah, so my Friday, that was just I didn't do much drinking on the Friday.
Bit sore from the Thursday.
Yeah,
yeah, same.
What happened on Friday? Friday is I think they had some skirmishes Friday night.
Yes, there was a Navarre one at 8 o'clock, and I think there was another couple either side of it, like a 7:30 and an 8:30.
Yes, Friday they had. Friday was all the new player stuff, wasn't it? So we had new player briefing, which was awesome. Credits to Hefty Yeti for giving the new players a bunch of free shit. Yeah, it was great. And met some pretty cool people there. One of the highlights was when they're doing the new player briefing, the guy was saying, "Oh, welcome to LARP, the most expensive mistake you've ever made, unless you happen to have the hobbies of horse riding or scuba diving." And I just loudly went, "Fuck," because I also scuba dive. And yeah, that is not cheap. So that was somewhat worrying. But he was right. I've spent an extortionate amount of money on LARP over the past month, which is crazy. But yeah, Friday was mostly new player stuff. I was really fretting over my bow not passing weapons check
Mm.
because it had never been through weapons check before. I have a 30-pound Scythian horse bow.
Yeah, did you kind of pick that up on the whim of like, hey, I want a LARP bow, or did you look into like the rules at Empire and like how to be an archer first? Because it's quite an undertaking being an archer in your first playthrough, especially when you haven't played an event before.
Yeah, I mean, when I was designing the character, I think I I laid it off my Skyrim sort of play style quite a lot, in that I go Dark Brotherhood, I wear a lot of black armor, I use sneak attack with a bow, and just watch people fall,
Just
ragdoll
ragdoll.
everywhere.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. It's like the sneak attack for 16 times damage pops up, and you're like, sweet. So, and I got into archery. When did I get into it? I started when I was about 11, so I've been doing it a while, but not very seriously, and then just kind of drifted out of it. I used to go to archery club and stuff like that when I was younger. So I did it for about 3 or 4 years when I was younger. And then one of my old friends, he's an archery instructor, so I started doing it over lockdown just as something. But then we both got very interested in doing LARP, both interested in doing Empire. So when I did go and buy my first bow for like a decade, I said I'm going to get one within the Empire regulations and practice with that. So when
Gotcha.
it comes to it, I'm dope as hell, basically. So yeah, got like an archery target in my back garden, which I think is out there now, being punished by the rain because I left it out yesterday. But yeah, so I did very much go into LARP with, I'm going to be an archer. Bought the bow specifically for LARP, made sure it was under the poundage that they said. Got a very traditional bow, no sights, no arrow rest, nothing like that.
Oh yeah, got to keep it classic fantasy look.
Yeah, I mean, I love my bow. Absolutely adore it. It's so much fun to shoot, and it worked so well a lot. I had so much fun being an archer.
Did you So you said you got to go on the skirmish on or a skirmish on Friday, right?
I went on 2.
Oh, nice. How did you find the bow on that?
It was so we had a new player skirmish, which is they do like a new player briefing and they introduce you to all the skirmish rules, and then they split you into 2 teams, and then you battle each other, and they have like different scenarios. So the first one was we were in this big donut, right, like in the middle, and then all of the enemy force was around us, and they just kept compressing and compressing and compressing. I was like, I can't even shoot. I don't have enough space to draw my arms back.
Uh huh.
So that was somewhat negative until 2 brave souls in front of me broke out, and I was like, now's my chance. So I jumped out of the donut, and then drew my sword and just started cutting people down from the back, because people thought I was just a part of their team because they didn't expect to get hit from behind. So that was great because I coup de grace like 3 or 4 people before I knew what an execute call was. So I just started stabbing them while they were on the ground.
They probably thought, oh yeah, that's an execute without the word. Good enough.
yeah, pretty much. I was just like hand stab, and then just effectively sprinted around the edge of this circle with a blade and just started slashing people in the back of the legs and the back. So that was quite fun. And then the second time we did it was we were on the attack, and it was like a rolling retreat kind of thing. It was mainly like a bit of an archer duel, and I quickly realized that archer duels are not the way forward. Like, archers should not be dueling because you're just giving your enemy ammo to shoot you. So that was still really fun. So that was like an introduction to skirmish and how the rules worked. And then I got in my head, I was like, I'm done. I know how to skirmish. I'm the best skirmisher in the world. I'm going to go on all the skirmishes. And I didn't so I went on the first skirmish. I think it was maybe like the second or third one of the night. I didn't manage to get on the first 2 because I think there was like 4. And it was too dark for me to use my bow at that point.
Yep.
So went out, and we got. The days are kind of blurred as well because I went on.
Oh, it always does, man. It's so hard.
Yeah, I went on 4 skirmishes in total, and on every single skirmish, something dumb happened. I'm trying to remember which dumb thing happened on Friday.
I mean, something dumb always happens. That's what I'm personally salty about. I'll cover in another episode when I do my own. Like we typically call this like hots and knots. If you've seen that on Facebook at all, hots and knots.
I have seen a couple of hots and knots. Yeah. I was going to post my own, but then I felt like most of the knots were because of my own doing, I feel. So
Yeah.
it's like, no, I think I went on 2 skirmishes on the Friday because the first one I could use my bow. I remember what happened. We we had to push through this choke point. So we got up to this choke point and we just couldn't push through the choke, and then we had to get back. And our skirmish, like we just had people dying on the floor, and I was like, what the fuck? I can't just leave these people.
Mm.
Not realizing that if the gate closes while you're still on the field, really bad stuff happens.
Yep. Oh yes.
So then they were like 2 minutes till gate close, and I was like, "What does that mean?" And then everyone just starts sprinting, and I'm like trying to help this wounded knight, so I'm hobbling along with him. And then we get there, and the ref is there, and he's like, "Gates closed." I'm like, "Yeah." Oh. And I'm like, "That's not good, right? It doesn't sound good." Anyone else? Everyone looks terrified, and I'm just sort of looking around, looking at everyone else's expressions, somewhat clueless. And then because I think you can just straight up die from what they call gate shock.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah, it's just whatever the ref decides to give you on the day.
Yeah.
So there was about 20 of us, so about half of the skirmish group missed the gate, which was quite a lot.
Yeah, that is a decent chunk.
So we basically got told as soon as we get back through the gate, we all drop to 0 hits. Which, so for those of you who haven't gone to like Empire before, when you get hit, you lose a hit. It's like hit points, right? So the more and different armor gives you different amounts. But when you're on 0 hits, you're technically dying. So we went through the gate, and yeah, we just all fucking fumbled down and started dying, and everyone like, just calls out for medics and shit everywhere. So that was pretty crazy.
Yeah. Did you get dragged into the hospital and get some really cool? It's so awesome.
Where I saw my friend, because the person I went with, they wanted to do a lot of hospital stuff, so I saw them. I was like, "Oh, Mimi!" Like, obviously not in character, but we sort of met eyes. And they were like, "Ira, what the fuck happened?" I was like, dying, death, bad things. Yeah, got laid down. Had to do some role play, which I found like doing the role play on the Friday. I found it really awkward to start with. I felt like really out of place. Imposter syndrome hit me hard.
When you say out of place, was it because this would have been your first organic, stranger-filled RP experience, right?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you do a little bit. I do a lot of D&D, right? So there's a lot of RP in that, but it's so different, so different. I know some amazing RPers in D&D, and I think when it comes to a LARP field, it's totally different kind of vibe.
Yeah, you've got someone physically in front of you.
You're not just playing that character. You are that character, right? So it was difficult. It felt really weird. Only on the Friday though. After the Saturday and the Sunday, everything became way more organic. But just introducing myself and like, "Hello, I'm Ira," like putting on a slightly different tinge to my voice, and just felt it felt like I was acting in a play that I hadn't auditioned for. I had no right to be there, kind of thing. So it just felt very odd. It took a while to get over that.
But it sounds like you did the right thing with like saying, "Hello, I'm this character," and at that point you've got the ice broken, and it kind of goes. Did you find it went pretty smoothly from there in the hospital, or was it just a lot of screaming?
No, I didn't really want to like scream in anyone's face, so I was more like manly groaning on the ground.
That's still good.
So that was I mean, like, as far as I'm concerned, then it's letting them do their RP, just reacting off of that. Like I quickly sort of adapted to let other people do their thing and then kind of join in when the moment arises.
And they said this is gonna hurt.
Yeah, when he said this is gonna hurt, I was like, all right, I can brain start searching for hurt leg noises, and then just yelled out one of those. got the old soundboard going. But yeah, that was an awesome experience. And then I just went straight back into it. They gave me like a bandage, wrapped me up, and I just went and joined the back of the queue for the next one.
Yep.
I was like, let's go again, because it was a lot of fun. But I didn't get to do a lot of shooting because we were pushing into this checkpoint, so I couldn't really shoot anyone.
Yeah, and also the skirmishes in general. Like when I started, 4-5 years ago now, skirmishes used to be easy. And the reason I'm reluctant to say that is they were relatively easy. They were still quite dangerous because on the main Saturday and Sunday battles, there's such a large amount of people and troops on the field that
Mm.
if you go down, you're quite likely to be picked back up.
Yeah.
And any kind of sweeping advance or thundering retreat is done over 30 meters instead of 300, like in a skirmish. And in a skirmish, you can, if you go down, you can just be left behind, and they might never come back because you've only got a 20-30 minute window. And also on top of that, this event, some Leave the Lawn skirmishes, my goodness, they were tough. We went in knowing exactly what we were facing. People having made preparations, got venoms for them, and we just bounced, like absolutely bounced. So I can imagine with your Friday skirmishes and the ones you got on afterwards, like not having your bow and resorting to kind of your, like, would you say, secondary armament must have been a bit challenging.
We got slaughtered on it. I mean, spoiler alert, got slaughtered on every single skirmish I went on. So
Yep.
either I'm just like some kind of bad luck moniker, or they are just as hard as you say.
They
so
are very hard.
That one. But yeah, second skirmish was actually where I had a bit of an OC injury.
So,
a brass coaster went down on rolling retreat, and I was like, no, I'm going to save them, be all heroic and shit. And then I kind of got caught behind these lines, but I managed to, because I'm quite quick as a human being. I'm just long-legged, really.
Yeah, gotta go fast.
I effectively just got my zoomies on and went round the edge and started making it back to my line, but I slipped because it was twilight at this point, so you're not allowed to use your bow.
Yeah.
And yeah, the grass had gone a bit slippy, and I was just wearing these boots that provided fuck all grip. So I went down like a sack of shit onto my knee. And then like a couple of orcs just start running over and start hitting me on the ground with pole arms. I'm like, fuck, okay. Like one like goes straight into my eye. And I had you won't know this because we haven't caught up. I had eye surgery last year.
Oh wow, okay.
And so I was really worried when I got this sort of jet of pain on that side of my face, and I was like, fuck. So I put my hands up, called for a ref. It turns out it just cracked the contact lens in my eye, but that like sort of sharp jet of pain after a year after just major eye surgery was quite worrying. So yeah, I was okay. Went to the tent, everyone was really great.
Oh, good.
Big kudos to the medical team there; they were awesome.
Yeah, they're surprisingly. I think a lot of people get bruises and bumps because it's battle, right? But one of our group, Sophia, had a broken ankle a few years ago. So it was a backwards retreat through the forest. Put her leg in a tree, like just by one of the stumps, and she fell awkwardly on it, and it twisted. And then her body weight covered in chainmail, just really unlucky kind of injury. But yeah, the medics are really good if you do get injured. But I'm sorry you got injured, man. That sucks. But hopefully to reassure you for the next event, injuries are surprisingly rare, I would say.
Yeah,
beyond bumps and scratches.
Yeah, I definitely overestimated the amount of purchase I had on the ground. I used to play like a lot of sports, so I was like, I'm faster than all these guys, I can go quicker. And then I realized I'm effectively wearing a pair of wellies, which are not exactly synonymous with running quick. So yeah, just went down, hit my bad knee. It was just a freak accident. But yeah, I mean the system for man down works. That's all I can say is that I didn't ever feel. Oh, I need to sneeze. Oh dear. Didn't ever feel like they didn't know what they were doing or felt unsafe at any point. So yeah, all the orcs who were hitting me were like really respectful. No one kept bashing me while I was like, help.
Yeah. So, do you find as soon as you called it, everyone was like, oh my god, are you okay?
Yeah, shit. Yeah, they were like, ref, we need a ref. So I think that was the only reason I survived that battle. Like, my character could have just died on that night because that was a really dumb mistake to try and go behind their lines to try and get this one guy.
But did you feel like a hero though? Like, you said before about you are that character, and it's a really good point because you can feel the adrenaline of that decision-making process and that decision-making process, and it all goes through your own brain in this what feels like about 10 seconds, but it's realistically about 0.5, and then you just bolt.
Yeah, I felt pretty badass. Felt
kind
of heroic.
Yeah.
It's a nice feat. You don't get to feel that most of the time in life. So so that was really cool. But yeah. So nearly died on the Friday. And then I think after that there was a lot of bumbling around. saying hello to a few people, but then kind of headed to bed fairly early-ish. I think I drank a little bit, but I went to bed about maybe like midnight. But the nights were bitterly cold.
Oh,
So
yeah,
so
yeah. Major
cold.
not. They were particularly bad.
Yeah, it was. I think I got caught off guard so much by how sunny England had been the past week.
No,
It'd
the
been
days were lovely.
beautiful
It was
weather.
it was what, like 18 degrees, sunny with a decent amount of cloud. It was perfect LARPing weather.
Yeah,
Perfect. But the
although
nights were fucking dreadful. God.
yeah, it was that wind going straight across the field. Just yeah, I mean, it nearly blew my phone away, which is crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
And
so
kudos for going to bed, around about midnight on the Friday, because like we said before, Saturday is the main day. It's whether you're monstering or whether you're a hero, there's the whole afternoon and the evening as well, and there's a lot to get done. And if you get, don't get me wrong, having a few tiddles is lovely and it's nice to socialize with people. But if you get wrecked to the point you can't operate on Saturday, it will give you a less fun weekend.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Friday you maybe get 3-4 hours of role play in before everyone's just drinking, right? I mean, there's other people who are drinking, but
Yeah.
Saturday you've got what time is it? 10?
Yeah,
Until
time at
1
10.
1 a.m. So yeah, you've got over 12 hours of RP. So
Yeah.
so much you can get done. Yeah, so I guess Saturday. Should we start on Saturday?
Yeah, absolutely. So were High Guard on the main battle on Saturday?
Yes, so we were battling on Saturday, and I actually found some people on Friday who invited me to battle with them.
Oh,
A
lovely.
chapter called Sons of Kuros. I spent a bit of time around their fire on the Friday night. They were nice. So joined them for the battle, which meant that we got like a special assignment, which was quite interesting. So that was quite fun.
Going full.
I'd,
Can you tell me the details, or are you not at liberty to discuss?
yeah, I mean, I can, right? So I'd met, I mentioned earlier I'd met a couple of new players.
Yeah.
So I basically formed up with them. They were both Unconquered. So Unconquered is like the special military unit of the High Guard, skirmishers, archers, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, they're like heavy. They're like heavy scout archers. The photos on the wiki page look awesome. I don't know who the players are who do them, but
Yeah,
they nail them.
you just feel like Aragorn the whole time. It's badass.
Mm.
It's great. You feel like you just want to hang out at the back of a tavern with a hood up, smoking a cigar, with everyone calling you Strider. Great, but I think that's a bit too much class fantasy. That just never happens. So yeah, met up with these two guys, and then we joined the Sons of Kuros for the battle. And the objective on the battle was there was a ritual site, was a low dig site, and we had to get this day mage to this dig site to see what was going on, and that was through this choke point, which we didn't realize at the time. So our job was basically protect that day mage. So were you monstering on the Saturday?
No, we were on field as well, Navarre.
Ah,
So you know where the choke point was? Let's call it like the top of the field, and then a bit
yes.
further down it, there's that big wooded area.
Mm-hmm.
Our Navarre unit was there, just holding the flank of the choke point on our side,
I
just
see.
just taking waves and waves of Jotun, which was it was okay. I won't stray too far into it because I could run for hours, but at one point we did get cycled in to have a go at the choke point, and we turn up and we see. I mean, you might have seen the same, about 4 or 5 layers deep, 7 troopers wide Jotun, shields, spears, heavy armor. And we just looked at our commander and just went, Neve, we're gonna die. Like, there was no way we could push through that. No way. Did you get the same greeting from the Jotun?
Yeah, so we pushed ahead behind like the main line, and the field marshal yelled at us to go and help. We went and help. But our main job was to keep this day mage alive and do everything that we could to keep him alive. So a lot of it was just babysitting, but it had its own blessings in that I got to see the battle from this awesome perspective, like being able to just watch everything.
Yeah.
So we saw all of the lines start forming, these regiments, this forming up. A big ass. I think we were with the Dawn as well. So like this huge Dawnish block of heavily armored knights, troubadours singing and shouting as they went in. So it was really really cool, really awesome atmosphere. And then it kind of all went to shit, really, as we got to the gate, that little bridge bit,
Yeah, the choke point.
and just never pushed through. So we were just kind of sort of standing around. I was like, oh, I've got a shot here. There was a herald around there, I think, and or maybe that was maybe I'm getting this confused with the Saturday battle, the Friday skirmish. Maybe there was someone I could have shot, but I wasn't able to get a shot because there was just like 4 or 5 shields in front of it. But yeah, there was just no chance we were ever getting through that, and so we just sort of stalled out for about an hour.
Yeah.
Wasn't really much to do on the Saturday battle. So the Saturday battle was cool, but it was quite disappointing.
Yeah, I'd broadly agree. Yeah, it was. We had the same issue. Just went after I think one party got through the gate, and the only reason we know that is because they threw their bodies back about half an hour later, and we were like, "Oh my god, yikes! These characters are fucked." And yeah, and then the rest of the time we had some open field battle with the Jotun trying to hit us in the rear, and there were some good points where we got some charges off and we got into some melee, but yeah, like the battles of the last few years have usually been a lot more dynamic, and I think, and this is entirely unqualified, that PD were just trying to keep it relatively calm for having so many new players, because there were a lot this event, which is awesome, because I don't know if you have we call it standing in Navarre, where we had like a sort of a huge entire nation meeting, and just at the start and finish of every event, and it's basically a chance to say what are the big things going on, essentially for quest givers to give out quests, and also to introduce all the new players. And we take all the new players step forward, and about 130 people step forward. It was absolutely nuts, absolutely nuts. Did you?
Crazy.
Yeah. Is there anything similar in Highguard?
No, I might come along and join the Navarre one. Just put a green cloak on and stand in the background, because that sounds great. No, we didn't have anything like that.
Oh, that's a shame. But
quite unfriendly to new players, I think.
interesting.
Yeah.
I suppose if they haven't got that forum for showing new players off, then how do you know who's new, right?
Yeah, it's difficult because as I lean back to my first point, everyone in Highguard, everyone's quite secular in these groups. They're all just doing their own thing. It's so hard to get involved. I managed to get involved with these 2 newbies, but even they had like friends in other nations and stuff like that. So when they went off and did their thing, I was like, yeah, fuck, what do I do now? In hindsight, I probably should have gone off and joined them, but
Oh yeah, it's your first time. Totally new experience. There's always it's never going to go perfectly, unfortunately. But
100%. But the battle on Saturday was fun, but largely left wanting more.
Yeah, good. And in terms of wanting more, did you get on some skirmishes that afternoon and evening?
I did.
Hey, nice.
2 on Saturday. I didn't want to spend the whole day skirmishing, because I quite happily could have. So, but Saturday I did fight the Valorn, and that went really badly.
Oh, how did you enjoy that? I didn't realize you were on the Valorn skirmish. What do you think of the Valorn? Oh god, they're just the way the crew play them is so good. They are creepy, they're scary, they scream. It's the masks and the outfits are pretty spooky. They didn't have very much smoke this time, but what they usually do is because the Valorn are plant zombies that infest people and other creatures, and I won't go further into those, but there are some deep, big, dark woods, and they have big, dark monsters in them that occasionally we run into. But the Valorn essentially are supported by a gas cloud called the miasma. It's kind of like what they breathe, and if you're outside the miasma, you might occasionally encounter some husks, which are sort of humans, very slow, classic zombie, very, very non-threatening, but dangerous in large numbers. But once you go into the miasma, you get the bigger, the faster, and the harder, and the scarier things.
The Eticat.
Yeah. Oh man. And also because the gas is all over the battlefield, you're venomed, so if you go down, you've got 30 seconds until your character is dead, which is terrifyingly short period of time. And then on top of that, there's the actual obscuring part of the battlefield too, where it will just these zombies can appear from the mist, and it's like a film. It's terrifying, and I love them. They're so well done. But you got on some of those skirmishes, which is awesome.
Yeah, so we got this was the one where I went and spoke to the Navarre to see if they had space.
Yeah.
And so, because we'd basically been asked if we could join a skirmish at 3 p.m. on the Saturday by the High Guard skirmish captain. And we were like, yes, we can. And then we get there, and they're like, oh, we don't need um, we don't need archers. I was like, oh, okay. So we get because they basically wanted cataphracts for it, which is the heavily armored
Yeah.
clankers, basically they call them. So it was a little frustrating, like being booked on the skirmish or so we fought, and then just being sort of told 30 minutes to an hour before, oh, by the way, we don't need you anymore. You're like, oh, for fuck's sake. So yeah, but then went over to Navarre, had that nice interaction with the skirmish captain over there, who's like, yeah, we'd love to take you. And I was like, oh, you're so friendly. Yeah. So that was awesome. So I ended up getting on that skirmish in the end, and yeah, we just got fucked so hard. We walked in, and I saw this kind of like fortification bit on our left flank, and I was like, oh, we could hold that section of the left flank really easily. So I went with I went with two people that oh, I didn't tell you about Saturday. One of my friends died. Totally just forgot this in the main battle.
Oh no.
One of the newbies that I was with, he just fucking died.
Shit.
And then we got to have like a funeral for him Saturday after the battle. So that totally just came back to me. So that was awesome. He died in like this really dumb way. He just overextended and just got stabbed to death. So we got to do this role play of like, no, I shouldn't have left him, man, and all that kind of stuff. So
Brilliant.
And then we had this funeral, which I actually cried in, and I was like, the emotions. So that was really fun. Then so then skirmish, he came back with his new character, and there was another one, and I effectively took control of this small unit, which was awesome. It was really, really good fun because it was kind of what I wanted my character to do. He wanted to be sort of a military man, work his way up in the military game. And so I took control of this really small unit, just three of us. But then I was like, Maximus, go check out take a Navari with you. And one of the Navari was just like, ooh, me, I'll come with you. So these two went off, checked it was clear. I basically didn't want like anyone sneaking up behind us from behind these walls and shit like that. So we checked that and it was clear. But then we got the call to come back. I was like, we need to hold this flank. We can't just press down the middle into this forest. We're going to get absolutely fucked. So I don't know who they put in charge of that skirmish, but they just got almost everyone killed.
Yep.
And then they came down that left flank. And I was like, well, yeah. So then they cut us off from getting back to the gate. With etacaps.
Oof. They're nasty little shits, aren't they? They're nasty to deal with.
God. And then we just ended up surrounded. And then I have to give massive credit to the Seawolves from the League, because they saved almost everyone's life in that battle, because they pushed through that back bit. Like 3 or 4 of these halberdiers went in, hit some strike downs, knocked some dudes down, and cleared like this small opening for a trickle of us to get through. But I got my 3 guys through. I was like, go, don't wait, don't pick anyone up, just get out that gate. And so we did. We got out the gate, but so many people died.
Did you feel real when you're fleeing from the enemy, just like when you're charging or attacking them? Do you feel genuine fear, like the genuine emotion you were talking about earlier?
I think it bled through a bit. It was definitely exhilarating. I think at that point I was so set on keeping the 2 people with me alive I didn't really think about myself at all then. I'd fully gone into my character's mindset of he'd lost someone on the battlefield the day prior. He's not going to lose someone again, especially that dude's brother. He came back with you role-played his brother, his identical twin brother. And so I didn't get the fear. I was just like full on, like watching everyone's back. It was really, really, really good fun. I felt like I was actually useful on that battlefield. Like the skirmishes, you feel, because one man can do so much more skirmish than a big battle.
Yeah, you're a larger cog in a smaller machine, and just your individual impact can be huge. And that's interesting around the Seawolves actually, because you might have heard from the intro. I run an IC Merc company, and the Seawolves actually have a contract at the moment with Navarre to defend our healers in battles. So skirmishes and main battles, they'll go on and guard them. Now it's OC, it's awesome because their uniforms match and it looks awesome, and B, it's really professionally run. Although
Yeah.
C, their captain did die this event. I think they might have died in that very skirmish.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, but
Yeah, we lost about half the number. Like generally, half the number didn't get through that gate.
oh,
We were just down by.
crikey.
It
Uh,
was it was bad.
Damn, that must have yeah, because I got on two of the Valorn ones, and this must have been the first of the maybe a clutch
It
of
was
three.
it was the first time we fought the Valorn because we had like a huge brief.
Yep, yep, yeah. That'll have been you like damn. Shame I missed that. But yeah, the Icy, the Seawolves defend our healers, and it's kind of like why we pay them a lot of money, and why can't we defend our own? So it generates some really really interesting adversarial roleplay that
Yeah.
hopefully will pour over because I think their contract's up for renewal this coming season.
Very interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it'll be cool. But yeah, that's interesting to hear like a good after action report because from our salty side of the woods, and just being Navari Thorns in general, we're like, we could do a better job. No. But it's nice to hear that they're earning their keep.
Yeah, they kicked some ass. I'm not gonna lie. Big credit to them.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I mean, I think I had like a proper Aragorn moment, which was maybe one of my. It's like a tiny little thing. It was one of my favorite things that happened. One of the guys I was with, Maximus. So as he was fighting, I got to shout out Maximus in like when Aragorn shouts Legolas.
Yeah.
It felt exactly like that, and he turned, and it was so cool. And I've just realised that anything with us at the end is a really fun thing to shout. So that was really cool. But yeah, I lost all of that kind of imposter syndrome stuff on the Saturday. Just went everything felt way more natural. So that was really good.
Nice. Do you feel like that was just you've done it more than once now? You've broken the ice and you're sort of really sliding into your character.
Yeah, definitely. I'd say it's akin to getting in a new person's car, like driving a new car for the first time. Like it feels a bit weird. You feel like you don't belong in it, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, this is just driving, right? So it felt similar like that with LARP. It felt a bit weird. It was a new thing, but then all of a sudden it was just, I'm just acting. I'm just being me but not me. It's a strange sort of thing to explain. You can't really explain it very well. It's probably a really shit metaphor, but
No, I think it's actually bang on. That's a really good way of describing it. Especially if it's your first time. Of course, it's going to feel weird. It's something you haven't done before, but because you're just being yourself with a lick of fantasy paint on you, it becomes surprisingly natural, surprisingly quickly.
Yeah, I was just cooler me. Like
yeah, I feel so much cooler at LARP than I do in real life. Like people talk to me about it, and I explain like, and I'll, and I charge this line or I poison this person's drink, and they're all looking at me like, what the hell is wrong with you? But in my head, I'm like, no, it was so cool. You just had to be there. It was great.
Yeah, you don't realize how cool everything sounds cool. And it must be like how it must have felt to be a warrior, right? Like you feel like a hero. Tales of old, songs are sung about you, and then you go back to your like office job, and you're like, last weekend I was fucking murdering orcs.
The come down can be pretty wild. Where a stack of what's the I guess the classic image of like a stack of files landing on your desk on Monday morning, and you're like, ugh. Yeah. Literal days ago, I was in full plate armor, impaling orcs, drinking ale, and capering around a fire late at night. It's a wonderful escape. It's a wonderful hobby.
Yeah, it generally is. The rest of the Saturday, though, that was where my big downs came. Big downs. I'd really struggled to get involved in High Guard, and I just felt like no one had any time for me at all. And so I was feeling a bit down that I just couldn't get ingrained with a group or anything like that. Like, I'd read a lot about what to do as a new player, what to expect, tips and tricks and all of that stuff, and none of them helped because almost all of them were like, oh, go in trying to find a chapter. It's a really good way to spend your first event. And so I was like, okay, well, I'll try and find a chapter, and just no chapters wanted new people, or like chapters weren't out looking for new people because I think recruitment was just really not on their mind this season. So just no one had any time for the new players, and then so I just spent so much time on my own. I managed to find my way down to the hub, where stuff just goes on. And I was like, oh, okay, what can I find that goes on here?
Yeah.
Had a look around, was still just, it was a bit overwhelming. Didn't really know what I was doing. But then found an IRL friend of mine. I found him IC, and I just took him aside for a quick OC chat, which may be a bit taboo, but I just needed some advice on it because I was just on such a low at that point.
Yeah, like if you tap someone and say, hey, look, quick chat, like do you see anyone doing like the whole lifting off their hat thing?
No, what's that?
Oh, it's kind of, it's hard to gesture on a podcast, isn't it? But essentially, like you're taking off a hat, like a bowler hat or a tricorn hat, and it, I'd say, would broadly mean like, hey, do you mind having an outer character? I'm taking off my character hat and have an OC chat.
I
Yeah,
see.
but also just whispering to somebody, say, hey, look, can we have a quick OC chat? Because
Yeah.
you know, 99.9% of people will not mind that in the slightest. Like,
Mm.
it's it's usually for a good damn reason. Either you need some help or advice, which people are happy to give, like in your case, or you're about to say something like, "I'm about to shoot up this whole place, and are you a non-com?" or something exciting is about to happen.
Oh, that sounds fun. Yeah, maybe I'll do that in the future.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I spoke to him and basically just said that I was bouncing off of high guard, couldn't get anywhere with the RP, or just felt very wooden, a bit abrasive from the outside. Everyone felt quite cold to me. So he was like, "Oh, I know some nice guys in high guard. We'll go walk up there." Like he's been playing for since Empire's conception.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah, he played like the previous system, so he's been going long. And so we walked up to high guard, and then he found someone who he knew. And left me with them. And then he was like, "Oh yeah," he seemed really nice. And then I got into this tent with like 10 people from his chapter, and so the friend who had brought me up, um, OC name was no IC name no OC yeah OC's out of character. God, getting those confused. So his friend Tim, he does like reenactment sword fighting and stuff like that. But his character's been alive for a really really long time, so he's like a general in the league. So obviously someone that all of the other generals know.
Yeah.
So I came into this tent, and then the person introducing me was like, "This person joined, recommended by General Bernard." And then the guy just started grilling me like in a really hostile manner. He was like, "Who the fuck are you? How does General Bernard know you? All of this kind of stuff." And I was just like, "No, I'm done." And
Oh,
I
wow.
never got that close to wanting to like full on just leave. Like I was like, I just want to get in my car and go home. So that
Damn.
was a really shit moment. Really, really shit moment. Um,
Was this this was all like IC? I'm assuming.
yeah, this was all like in character, and I was just like, I just got myself out of the situation. I was like, "I'm sorry to bother you," and just left. And then the dude who Tim had left me with came out and was like, "Wait, wait, 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 wait. He's got to say, you just understand that's just role play." And I've been like, "Yeah, but this is the issue I've been having. Like, no one wants anyone like new players around. No one wants me anywhere." Um, And he was like, "No, come back in, come back in." I'm like, "No, I'm not going to come back in. It's embarrassing at this point. I'm just gonna go take some time out and see how I feel."
Mm.
So I did. I went down to God, spoke to them. I'm having some really struggles as a new player. Maybe I can change up some stuff about my characters, make it a bit more interesting. And then got like a tour around of all the skirmish team stuff. So like all of because they have their own dedicated skirmish team. So met a few of them. That was really cool. There was one guy there who I killed like 3 times in the Vlorn skirmish, and he was like, "This area's yours." As he was going to go hand ones back into God, and I was like, "Thank you." So that was really cool. That I'm somewhat recognised now for shooting people a lot. So that was quite a nice like confidence boost. A bit nice. And yeah, I got to walk around with this judge for a little bit. Yeah, I think he's a plot writer, maybe. I'm not sure.
Oh, was it a magistrate if it's a judge?
No, no, sorry, I meant like a ref. He had
Oh,
to do like
gotcha.
a lot
Yeah.
of ref stuff, but yeah. So walking around with this PD staff for a little bit, and he found some people to introduce me with. But again, was like just chatting with them for a little bit. But it was just a different high guard chapter. It was just involved in their own stuff. So I just sat around their fire for a little bit, and then I went to bed super early. I was just cold. I was miserable. I'd had the fights were disappointing. The highlight was the Vlorn skirmish. We got our ass kicked on it. I had that really poor role play experience with that other guy.
Yeah.
The wind was bitter, so bitter. So I actually slept in my car that night. I just got into my car, put the seats down, just slept in my car.
Yeah, I
Um,
don't blame it. I mean, even inside the, we camp icing. We've got a like the 4 meter bell tent, and yeah, I had like an air mattress, blankets, but I slept fully clothed, like in
yeah,
in my
so
robes with a hat on. It was really cold.
uh,
It's honestly it's probably the coldest I've ever been at LARP. There was one other event a few years ago, lovingly called the Mud Apocalypse, where it just rained and
okay,
rained and rained, and like you said, like I know that feeling of you just want to get in your car and go home. It's the only
yeah,
time I felt like that. I'm so fucked off that I'm just sick of this.
yeah,
Yeah,
and it's
but
understandable, right? Like it really, really kicks the crap out of you. You just think like, oh, I wish we could schedule this for a different weekend, kind of thing.
yeah, I'm sorry, man. You didn't have a good experience with the league with the
With High Guard, great experience with Luke.
Oh, sorry. Was it? Sorry. So you got introduced to a person who was a league general, but then it was a high
The League
guarder who.
General was awesome. He sent me to a High Guard group that would that was where the bad
So
ice came from.
gotcha,
Yeah,
gotcha.
yeah.
Ah,
Um, he sent me to another general because obviously being a general, he knows the generals. So he was like, "Oh, I know this guy. He's really nice." So, spoiler alert, did not end well.
hmm. But you did the
uh,
right thing, man. Like going to PD and just saying, "Hey, look, I'm just struggling." That's absolutely what they're there to do. And it's good that you asked instead of
yeah,
just being, miserable by yourself and like potentially just going home and missing out on, the Sunday. You've done the right thing, talked to them, and they got you involved in something. It's just a shame that player wasn't because it can be a little bit tricky sometimes because OC, I'd say 99% of people are really nice on field, but
mm,
IC, especially when they're changelings, you can find they're very like or briars they can get very aggressive or briars like
really,
deliberately,
okay,
yeah, because it's part of the role play and it's meant to be adversarial, but
mm,
as a new player you've got no way of recognizing that, and
yeah,
exactly like you found here, someone could come across as a massive douche, and they're not trying to be, but they kind of are, and that's their angle they're taking. But yeah, that's a
yeah,
real shame.
yeah. Very difficult when you come across someone that is playing an asshole when all you really need is just someone to give you a hug and put you on fire and be like, hey man, come do all this cool shit with us. Um, which is what I was really looking for. But honestly, sleeping in my car and just browsing through the wiki on my phone, looking for stuff I could do, saved my weekend, and I went into Sunday with such renewed vigor.
Oh really? Oh,
Um,
fantastic.
I got such a good sleep in my car. I mean, she's only a little Ford Fiesta, but I put the seats down. I was sprawled over like both sections of my car. I think I got hit in the nuts by my gear stick at least once or twice in the night, but it was still better sleep than I would have had in my tent. Um, and yeah, woke up renewed, ready on Sunday, ready to monster. So yeah, because you must have monstered on Sunday as well.
I so I got onto the field for about 20 minutes, and I'd had a non-corona cold going into the weekend, so I was basically teetotal for the whole thing until a little bit on Saturday night where I had, let's call it a light drinky, and yeah, I've been like taking paracetamol all weekend to kind of like just dull the symptoms, and I looked fine, I was fine, but I wasn't. That bit of drinking and then another cold night just it did something to my stomach, and I got halfway
Oh my
through,
goodness.
like, okay, not halfway through, 20 minutes into Monster, and I was like, Keelan, yeah, I'm gonna shit myself. and I I ran. I just broke from the line and ran back down to PD. Obviously went to the toilet and stayed there for 20 minutes. I was like, oh my goodness me. So I did miss about half the battle, but
Oh, it's a shame.
yeah. Everyone came back and they said, yeah, it was good. It was good. They didn't tell me more than that. So please elaborate for me.
It was my best experience of the weekend by far. It was so much fun. Um, so we were basically, I got put into a marcher archer block.
Uh huh.
The Mirachas is what we ended up calling ourselves. Um, and we got put behind this big palisade, and they couldn't shoot through it. They couldn't climb over it. We could shoot over it. It was great, and their archers were so set on trying to take us out, they just kept giving us more ammunition. I was like, thank you very much. And I'd take their arrows and I'd fire them into their healers. And they'd be like, no, you're going to shoot us. I'm like, no, I'm not shooting you. But it was awesome. We did like a full on a couple of full volleys into like the backs of you guys. Not you guys, into the backs of the marchers and stuff.
Yeah, the winter mark.
Yeah. But yeah, it was awesome. It was such a good day. I landed some just incredible shots. I was like, nice. I'm a good shot. So that was really fun. Like my couple of years of archery in the garden coming up to this, it definitely paid off. So
Nice. And did you wear a mask, or did you go as, was it Yagera, who were the human kind of thralls?
yeah, so no, so we were the like other Marcher family, like
Oh, the
the ones
red.
against the
Oh,
Empire. I can't
yeah,
remember what they're
Yeah,
called.
I've forgotten their name.
But we got to just shout farmery stuff like, "Oh yeah, come over here!" It was great. It was really good fun. Got to channel my inner Suffolk. So that was good. There were a few times like people would break through. They got so frustrated with us archers. There was a few times they'd break through the lines to try and get to us, and then they'd get cut off, and we'd just run away. And they'd be like, "Wait, I'm in full plate armor. Stop running away."
Stop running! I'm so tired.
Yeah, and then they just like I remember this guy sprinted after us and I was like, damn, he's moving pretty quick. And he actually caught a couple of our slower moving archers, like, damn, kudos to you, dude. And then he started running after me, and I just kept running back and then stopping, and then he was like, and then he just hands on his knees, and then someone just came behind him and stabbed him, and I was like, oof.
Bad way to go, friend. Bad way to go.
Yeah. I mean, I just went out with no armor. I was like, I don't need armor. Fuck it, I'm not gonna get hit. There was one moment I was bragging to one of the archers. We had these little platforms we could stand on, and I was like, "Go on, have a shot. You won't hit me. Have a shot." And I'm aware my accent is god awful, but I stood T-posed on this platform, and he fired an arrow, and it went straight through my legs. I was like, "Nice, all right." Lady Luck's with me today, so that was quite cool. I think I then shot someone with that arrow, so that was even better.
Yeah.
But yeah, I must have killed like 30, 40 people in that battle, or at least got like 30, 40 downs with all the arrows I've been getting over the hour and a bit we were there. So it was
Nice.
pretty crazy. Yeah. I
Yeah,
went to the front lines and I got an orc in front of me, and I said, "Oh, cover me as I move up." And I drew my bow, and I said, "I would move," and he jumped out of the way, and I shot like a knight or someone in heavy armor in the leg.
uh-huh.
And he must have decided that it was his time to die, because rather than falling backwards and getting healed, he fell head first into this line of orcs. He just got stabbed to death, and it was great. It was so funny. And then like 2 or 3 people turned around and were like, "Oh, great shot!" So yeah, it was just awesome. Monstering on Sunday was absolutely awesome. Atmosphere was amazing. The people were great. It was just so much fun.
Yeah, monstering. I've had some of my best LARP fighting experiences as a monster rather than as my hero, because you can.
Yeah,
It's not a joke. Don't get me wrong, but it is a little less serious because you're not worried about your character dying. So you get to pull off those ridiculous 10-on-1 charges or those crazy moves, or you get to act out a really cool death. If you get downed, like that night you hit, it sounds like he was. People in LARP in general are so good at taking their hits and having like a
yeah,
dramatic death. It's so much fun just to see it.
yeah. He must have like wanted this to be his last battle, because he could have just fallen behind and got healed behind the line. And he was like, no.
Yeah.
So I mean, that made my experience awesome, and I think that's something I'd want to do more. If I wasn't an archer, I would have been well up for dying a few times to other archers, but they weren't respawning the archers, so if we died, we were just gone.
Yeah, he'd come back as like an orc or a Garrett trooper.
Yeah, exactly. And all I had was like a small sword on me, so I was like, no, I want to stay as an archer as long as possible. Much to the bane of many mages and healers, so that was cool.
Nice.
Yeah, Sunday was just such a better day. Such a better day.
And do you know? So if hopefully your next event, the Saturday afternoon sounds really like shitty. We're trying to get involved in stuff. What you can always do if there's like a real downtime, and I don't imagine it will happen again now that like the first event's gone. But what you can do is go to the God tent and actually volunteer to crew, just for a couple battles, just for
Yeah,
skirmishes. I've done that before, and I've actually been a husk when the Imperial Orcs came through, and they really struggled because humans have souls in Empire, and the big thing with Forlorn is that we know the human soul is still trapped inside, so killing them is kind of releasing them. But for the Orcs, it works a bit differently, and they're Howling Abyss, and I'm not quite sure how. And they were really, really scared of dying in the miasma, like utterly terrified, and they weren't executing us. So at one point, I just was a generic Dornish zombie with a tabard and a shield and sword, fell over, and then one orc came up to me and like, I'm not sure it's dead. At that point, I got to open my eyes and go glare, and then just suddenly do like a ultra quick sit up and just slash at them, and they sort of jump back. They panel beat me back to the floor, and I died properly. But yeah, like
That's so cool. Though.
yeah, and that was just just being around. It was in the pouring rain. It was actually it was in the apocalypse. It actually led to why I was so. I basically got soaked through because I was rolling around on the floor in puddles like a pig. But it was fun doing it, and there's pouring rain, there's smoke everywhere. It's almost impossible to see, and there's us start of the zombies and our little clank staggering out of the forest, and all these orcs are really all the Imperial orcs. It's one of the few times I've seen them afraid, because usually they're so bombastic and confident on the field. It was such a cool experience.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
how cool!
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then
Sunday was just such a good day.
yeah, so you had the final battle of the weekend, like the final major one on the Sunday. Did you get up to anything afterwards?
Yeah, so I'd kind of given up on High Guard at this point, right? I was
Yeah.
like, I'm not going to spend any more time trying to push my way into communities that don't want me. So I went into Dawn, which, because I heard that the marchers at some point while they were on the battle were going to take a picnic on the Dawn's Glory Square. Which apparently didn't happen, but I wanted to go over there and see. And then I saw a couple of people that I'd met. One really, really nice lady from High Guard, who was part of the Sons of Kura. She'd been really welcoming, and on like the battle on Saturday, she'd clinged to me quite a lot, and she had like an emotional thing because someone that she had died, and she was like, "Keep me alive, protect me," and I was like, "Yeah, okay, cool." So she invited me to come join them for a drink at one of the in-player taverns, and there were a couple of sea wolves there, so that was really cool. Got to speak to them a little bit, and then a Dornish noble came up and tried to hire them, but they were too busy. Because he was like, I'm one of the few Dornish nobles with coin. There's a test of ardor about to take place. I want you to, basically hire them to stop this person from professing his true love. I don't know why, just for his own amusement. And they were like, oh, we're too busy. And then he turns to me and was like, how about you, Archer? And I was like, yeah, I'll do it. So I think it was like, I said originally 3 crowns.
Not bad. Decent merc.
But then he gave me 2 in the end. I was like, yeah, okay, I'll take 2. I mean, I know why you're rich because you're a cheapskate. So, yeah, for 2 crowns, I basically got involved in this test of art, which was the last thing of the day, where he said, so someone's going to come through, they've got a goblet, and they're not allowed to spill any wine from this goblet onto the floor.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about this.
Yep, they have to get it to their true love, which is in the middle of the Glory Square. Now, you're not allowed in the Glory Square because you're not Dornish, but you can stand outside, and I want to try and shoot the person with the cup, or shoot the cup out of their hand. I was like, shoot the cup out of their hand. I'm not Legolas.
But I'll try.
but I was like, yeah, I can do that easy. Like in my head, I was like, how the fuck am I going to do this? I'm looking like an idiot.
No, but you said yes, which is the most important answer to any question. Yeah,
exactly. And so waiting around a little bit, and he was bragging to a lot of Dornish people about how he'd hired this archer, and I think he called me an assassin a bunch of times because my character does look like the traditional, like, hey, give me £5, I'll go stab your ex-wife.
Is that a thing? I've never. I hope not.
Probably not. Definitely not my line of employment. But yeah, I looked significantly edgy enough for him to say yes. I've hired this assassin. And so I was like, fuck it, if you're calling me an assassin, I'm going to look as edgy as possible. So I put the hood up, put the mask on over the nose. Looked as edgy as possibly could be. So I expected maybe a 3 or 4 guards around him, and that I might struggle to get a shot in, but if I can I can kind of like sneak around and hit them from an unexpected angle, I might be able to hit him. But oh no, 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 no! This was the last event of the Sunday, and everyone had decided they were taking part. So it must have been about 300 people pushing
Gosh,
through into the field, and we had like this huge icy brawl. Sorry, sneeze again.
bless you.
Thank you. So yeah, and I shot a few people, shot a couple of people in the leg. That was quite good fun. And he was just kind of like directing me where to shoot. I was like, I've got 3 arrows left. Where do you want them? He was like, hit him. And so yeah, I shot this dude, and he was like, and now him. So that was really quite fun, just shooting what I was told, displaying a decent level of proficiency, and getting paid for it. And then eventually he managed to break through, did this big Dornish speech, and then was allowed to go and profess his true love. But I was like, no, edgy assassin, I'm leaving halfway through. So when he turns around, I'm no longer there. And yeah, then I just went back, packed up, sorted all my stuff out. And yeah, got ready and went home. But it was, all in all, one of the greatest weekends I've ever had. So much fun. Sunday saved it. Saturday was a bit miserable, but Sunday was just incredible and absolutely made my weekend. So
Awesome.
definitely stuff I'll do differently for next event for sure.
Yeah, so you're definitely coming back for E2.
Yes, I've got a character planned out. I'm doing totally new character, so Ira's gone. Totally different one now.
Yeah, what happened? Sorry to interrupt, but what's going to happen to Ira in the background? Does Ira die on a battlefield between the summits, or?
No, so Ira. So I was planning to transition him into the league, but then I just decided, no, I'm just going to do a new character instead because I wanted a more leagueish name. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Ira has actually gone in search of his sister. He was basically, his whole family was separated during this Jotun invasion on his homeland when he was younger. No, Druge invaded.
Yeah.
And so he hasn't seen his sister for over a decade, so he's going to try and find. That's what he's going to be doing, and maybe at some point I'll bring him back. I know that I won't be able to bring him back ish as a because when a character's gone, it's gone when you retire it by
Correct.
Empire.
Yeah.
But I might just figure something out, and because I'd like to continue a story at some point, but I think I'd like to give a totally different archetype a go first. So new character is League. He's a mountebank. He's a jester. He does like street magic. Very colourful. Very kind of a bit flirtatious. Speaks to everyone. Should be fun.
Nice. And have you got the full leagueish name yet? Or are you still working on it?
I do. Alviado Inicio de Savos.
Lovely. Does
Yeah,
it feel good just rolling it off the tongue? Well, not quite rolling off the tongue, but it will do after a bit more practice.
Yeah. I need a few more sessions practicing in the mirror. But yeah, getting there. I don't speak any like Italian or Spanish, so trying to put a slight little twinge on to make it sound a bit more natural could be quite interesting. But
Yeah,
still an archer. But I'm going into the magic game a little bit this time.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah, I was going to say every time a league person has told me their name, my eyes are kind of widened a bit, and I'm like, what? But it's a great OC. It's great, but IC like okay, I'm going to call you Daz.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean his nickname is just going to be Harvey. Right?
Yeah.
So it's a super easy one for anyone to remember.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
that's awesome. I think I've been in Navarre since I started because I'm not an idiot. No, it's a lot of fun, but I feel like definitely up for changing nation. And two of those nations is either Farushka or League. But
if you ever come to the league, we'll have to think of an icy reason for us to know one another.
Yeah, just traveling Bravo. Like Velizio.
It'd be so much fun. I've already started networking with people before the event, which is one of the, if you're a new player listening to this, that's one of the biggest things I could recommend doing. Is like find some connections before you go, especially if you go on your own.
Yeah, how did you find them? Did you just go on Facebook or on the groups?
Yeah, I'm part of a Discord on Facebook as well. I've just been asking if people want to do some IC mail, so I've done a few, and then I'm also, because the second event actually falls on my birthday, I've roped two of my friends in to come.
Oh, lush.
So I've been like, hey, we're going LARPing for my birthday. And they're like, all right, sounds good. But they're really getting into it. They've all got, one of them's a medieval reenactor, so he's got like a full set plate armor.
Oh, lovely.
Which is going to be sick. So yeah, super excited for all of that. Yeah, just really counting down the days now. It's pretty much a month away today.
Yeah, it's gonna be on the
9th to the 12th, I believe.
Yeah.
So this time next month, hopefully we'll see each other again. I'll have a bit more colour on me this time.
Yeah, definitely. The league costumes are, mwah. They are yeah, like some of the. I think the Brass Coast and the league have some of the most striking costumes on the field.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Like I want a big feathery hat. Like the
Yeah.
more feathers I have, the better it'll be.
Yeah, and a cod piece as well. It's mandatory. A ridiculous one, and the masks as well.
Oh yeah, I've got a really nice mask. Yeah, I'm quite excited to show off my new character when it's all done. I think it'll look cool.
Nice. Awesome. So like the way I always end these things is there's kind of like the four main things. It's just a loose score out of 10. There's almost zero criteria apart from what you feel. There's the combat, the RP, and then we call it the costume because it's kind of like it's more like a practicality side of things. Like did you have enough armor? Did your shoes stay on? Did you pick up a nice pouch that you really enjoy? That kind of thing. And then finally overall. So to start with combat, would you say it sounds like you had a really good time with it, like an 8 out of 10?
I'd honestly, I'd give it an 8, potentially a 9. The combat was awesome. It was just those couple of times were lacking, and I'd really like more organization for skirmishes and stuff like that, like someone calling the shots or maybe separating it into 2 team leaders. But that may be something that my character ends up bringing up with the generals.
Do it. Whenever you want change. Empire, like with 3,000 people, it feels big, but actually you are a big cog in a small machine, and you can have a huge impact. You can also just turn up and say, "I am the captain now," without a hint of the meme, and people will often listen to you.
Yeah, I might just end up doing that at some point because he's very much a blagger. My new character, he's silver-tongued.
Yeah. Definitely, so, definitely turn up and say you're the captain.
I'll just be like, "Oh, I'm in charge of you guys. Field Marshal said so," and they'll be like, "Oh, okay, cool." Field Marshal's too busy to know what's going on. It's fine.
Yeah,
I'm my own little unit.
He'll probably congratulate you for your initiative after the battle's done.
Yeah, and if the Field Marshal says anything, I'll just get someone to stab him when he's not looking. It's okay. Everything's fine. Yeah, so combat, good, solid 8, 9 out of 10. Really good fun. But yeah, just those few moments that were lacking.
Yeah,
definitely more organization on the monster side than there was on the Imperial side.
Yeah, even though you've only got people for like 20 minutes before the battle, there's a lot of good drilling and organization.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because it's run by a company, not a bunch of nerds in the field.
Yeah.
Cool. The RP side, I'm guessing the score for this is not going to be that great.
There was a lot of potential for it that I didn't embrace, right? I spent way too much time trying to force myself into somewhere that wasn't working. I was just bashing my head against the same wall. But the RP that I did have was good, apart from the couple of negative experiences I had. But the being able to be emotional over my friend dying on the battlefield was really good. The funeral was incredible. All of that kind of stuff was awesome. So I'm going to be quite generous with the RP. I'm going to give it like a 6 or 7.
Oh, nice, excellent.
Because the moments of RP I did have were really memorable and really, really good.
Brilliant. Oh, that's great. I'm glad it's like the one that stands out for me is that negative high guard experience. But it's good that there's been enough in there to save the day. I was expecting like a 2 or a 3.
Yeah, I'm just trying to focus massively on the positive side of it because although that brought me down for a day, like so much more that happened that was positive. I don't want to like.
Yeah, it's fair. There's up and downs, but mainly ups. The costume side of things, like I saw your costume. For listeners at home, it's he's not lying. It was jet black armor with a cloak. I think I commented on your boots as well. I really like those. The sort of knee high riding boots were really cool. But how did it all work out in the end? Did you feel warm, comfortable, cool, agile?
It was the perfect costume for so many things. It was amazing for fighting in. It had that kind of edgy intimidation factor I wanted, although no one wanted to talk to me, which is the downside. I remember like lining up outside of God, and people were like, "Oh, the costumes this year are so good! Like this dude just looked like he wanted to murder people," and I was like, "I'm actually really nice, I promise." So that was really cool. Uh, but yeah, costume was great. I was way too cold though. When the sun dropped, the temperature plummeted, the wind came in. I needed a bigger, thicker cloak. It's just sitting myself around the fire just wasn't enough.
Yeah.
So yeah, score. I'd give it like a 6 because the wind really kicked the crap out of me, and a large portion of the game is after sunset. Like a big, big portion of the game is after sunset.
Yeah.
Like
All the,
Friday is all after sunset, pretty much. You know, you've got like 5, 6 hours, and Saturday after sunset. So there is a lot that you need to be warm for.
yeah, definitely. It's being cold is an incredibly quick way to ruin the vibe.
Definitely, especially when everyone else is having fun, drinking, they're all in their nice warm cloaks, and you're like, I am miserable, I am cold, I just want to go and go to sleep. You know, you
Yeah.
miss out on a lot of fun stuff.
Yeah. I
Like
think
I
my
missed out on the festival of the dead and all of that kind of stuff. It was just too cold. I couldn't do it.
yeah. It's a real shame. And like when one thing I did notice this time, there were not a lot of fires. Usually there are a lot more fires on the field, like open campfires where people invite you to sit. So even the one in Wintermark, there's usually a big national hearth. I didn't see that, which I was really
Okay.
surprised by, because I've been around that thing before and it is toasty and wonderful in the
Yeah.
extreme. Um, and I think that is because, yeah, again, not basing this on data but hearsay, we had a relatively large event, like 2,600, not quite 3K, but
Mm.
decent. But about 500 veteran players didn't show up, and that's because
Oh
people are
right.
concerned
Okay.
about COVID. A lot of people don't turn up because of the weather at E1.
Yeah.
For me, I'm the kind of person who loves LARP so much I'll endure it. But some people, for them, this is quite a minor hobby, so they just don't turn up
Yeah.
at E1. And then also some people have just decided to give LARP a break.
Mm.
But I imagine what will happen is we go into spring in 6 weeks or 5 weeks time. There'll be around about the 3,000 mark because all the veteran, a good chunk of the veteran players will come back, and
Oh
also
wow.
now
So
we've
the E2's gonna be bigger.
yeah, and then all of the former noobs, now veterans, because now you've done it once. Um, all of them will come back like exactly like you've done with maybe a friend or two in tow, especially the solo larpers because they're like, oh my god, this is awesome, more people please. And you bring them on, it snowballs, and I wouldn't be surprised if E2 is the largest one ever.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that. Yeah. E1 was massive.
Yeah,
I mean, I have nothing to compare it to. It was giant. So many people. The battles were huge.
yeah,
I think
seeing
that's when you see the biggest gathering of people, isn't it? It's around the battles when you really
yeah.
get a sense of the scale.
So you see a shield wall, an actual advancing
Yeah.
military, like just you go to reenactment days and they're like you've got maybe 50 guys, 100 in armor. There might be one battle at 2 o'clock that lasts for 20 minutes with some blanks fired and stuff. But when you're at LARP, you're in there for the battles are nearly 2 hours long. You're in a shield wall, you're in a squadron, you're in a scout unit, and you are fighting again and again and again. Like you're exhausted. You need to have breaks during it. Like
Yeah.
but it's so visceral, it's so real, and even though you're using foam weaponry and fake shields, the armor's real, the calls are real, the people, your enemy staring you in the eyes is so real. It's a wonderful experience.
Yeah. I'm so
Yeah,
excited to go back and like have my friends have that experience as well.
yeah. So overall, Empire LARP E1 of 2022, score out of 10.
We have 7, I think. But I think that docking of 3 points is all because of me. Like it wasn't because, well, maybe one because of like one negative RP. But I definitely could have made this event a 10. And if I'd spent a little more time just having fun with my friends, like going to Dawn and interacting with the people that I enjoyed and I'd met down there, going to the league and interacting with those people, interacting with Navarre, like interacting outside of my nation more rather than like bashing my head against this same wall for like 12 hours at a time, then it would have 100% been such a better event. And so, yeah, I'm going to give it a 7, but definitely potential to be higher.
Nice. So overall, I believe it's a 28 out of 40, which is pretty good. I think that's just around that
That's all right.
70% mark.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's an A.
what's
or
not
a
bad.
or
It's a
what is it
2-1.
now? Is it like a yeah? It's a 2-1. It's an A. It's is it a 3 now or a 4? I'm not sure what the scale is. Or is it 9 that's really high and 1's really low?
Oh god, I haven't got a clue.
I don't know. Well, it's probably about a 7 if it's 70%, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
probably.
not a clue. But yeah, man, I'm so glad you enjoyed it. Like it was, so nice just to run into you, like one of those.
Yeah, it was super
It's
sweet.
just like what? It was like a film, and that wasn't even at time in. And then
Yeah,
yeah,
I was mad because we talked about going to LARP together. Do you remember?
yeah,
We
like
talked about
5 or 6
coming to
years ago.
five.
Yeah,
Like, and I got the armor commissioned to go, and then I think we just went separate ways in life, and I just
yeah, and
never had time. Or now that I have my own car, it's so much easier. Like, um, just never had the time or the money to really find my way over. And then just this time decided, yeah, I really want to do it. I've been wanting to do this for ages. So yeah, and so glad I ran into you. It was awesome. Awesome to see you again.
yeah, absolutely, man. Cool. We're at the 1 hour 25 minutes and 54 seconds. Is there
Oh wait,
any?
oh my god.
Honestly, LARP talks are always yeah, they're long
I'm
because they're
sorry, I
fun.
must have bored your head off.
No, no,
Talk
it's
so
I
much.
love. I've been taking some notes and I love listening to like people's perspective of what is fundamentally almost the same event. We're at different points in the field, but you go to Empire and you can get lost in your own personal web of everything that's going on. Like there is so
Yeah,
much going on,
definitely.
and your actions you can see some impacts of them, but then other times those impacts will have a far more ranging effect that you only find out about talking to other people, or you see someone else's different viewpoint on the same issue, like the Seawolves, for example. That's fascinating because
Mm.
we see them as competition, but seeing a third party go, "Hey, they saved our lives," it's really cool. It is really cool because nothing is ever black and white at Empire.
Yeah,
And
100%.
yeah, I think yeah, it also reinforces my top tip to new players. Um, LARP can be very expensive if you're shelling out for a £2,000 suit of armor, that kind of thing. But going for a few charity shops, good set of hiking boots, and some chums to camp in the tent with. It can be, I'd say, equivalent to a camping weekend, and especially when you can eat and drink in character and without using OC money, which is quite nice. But the biggest thing is thermal layers and having like if you're going to drop cash on anything, nice big cloak. Maybe get some like long johns or something to get underneath your outfit. Like on Amazon you can get those like thermal running kit. I got one of those ages ago just as pajamas, but also if the day is freezing cold, I can put it on. You can't see it under my kit, and stops me freezing to death.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna bring some like fleece-lined leggings with me and stuff for next to it, just in case it does get too cold. So,
Yeah, yeah. Cool, man. All right then. Well, dear listeners, thank you so much for sticking with us. And again, there's a discount code on the main page if you yourself fancy coming to LARP. And if you're also new, I don't know. I generally advise against approaching us IC. I don't know, Ty, if you want to like offset that. But OC. It's lovely to chat to people if you do listen. And I had a couple of people say hello this time round, so please do say hello.
oh, that's cool.
Yeah, but if you want to approach me icy, just be aware that Ban is a piece of shit, and I'll be friendly. Don't get me wrong. Like Ty, we'll have to interact more next time. But
100%.
I will send you on suicidal missions.
Oh, I need to be fair. My character is he's very very network based, so he's trying to build up like this big network of influence. So he's going to lead. He's going to need an Avari scumbag at some point, and I think Ban might be the one he goes to.
Oh yeah. Did you hear about the thing with the Fleet Master and the Grendel?
No,
Oh, okay. I'll leave that for another episode then.
exciting.
All right, dear listeners. Until next time, make sure that your spear is sharp, your trousers are warm, and that your cloak is